is Stewart, back again with another video. This is Fitness with Stu. And I want to kind of pick up where I left off on the last video, where I was just basically talking about how my experience was when I was in high school, dating experience, all of that stuff with the weight loss, you know. So those who were basically coming back again, describing at one point in a particular time in my life, I was overweight, and I'll bring that picture up again. I always have it here just as a reminder. I was an insurance agent. I was basically, at this point in time, I was about 250, 60 pounds or so. And I thought I looked good. You know, obviously, you know, you see it through the lens of your own eyes and how you perceive yourself, you can see that. But now looking back at those pictures now and where I'm at now, I look and see that I wasn't in shape at all. So that's why you really can say, like, you know, over time you do change. And it's because of God. He's the only one that actually did it for me. I remember praying one night and asking him I needed the help, and he sent somebody. You know, it was a random person that told me about the workouts I need to do. He just simply, hey, go to the gym or wherever you want to get in a treadmill, do it 3 days a week, and do 30 minutes on there, and that's it. And you'll lose 30 pounds within 3 to 4 months. I was like, you know, I'll take this for face value. I said, I'm gonna do it. I remember I had flip-flops on, and I did those actual things, exactly what he said, and I done that. And from that experience, I had lost the weight just like he said. I lost it, and I was like, wow, that's all it takes. And then from there, it kick-started. I started like adding the weights in. I started doing more. I started down on the nutrition. My mom always cooked really good meals for me growing up. So as a kid, I was never overweight. You know, I was skinny, but not fat or nothing like that. Bird chest, people say, you know, I was like that. Probably like 135 pounds or so. I had broad shoulders. So you could tell, like, if I worked out, I would be big, you know, like muscular wise. People would always say that. But, you know, I was like, man, it takes so long to get to that. And I gave up on it. It was something I wanted, but I gave up on it. But God didn't give up on me on it. So later in life, here we are, 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like, I picked it back up. I actually, like I said, I started in 2021, and that was that picture I showed you. And I mean, I got a surprise for you, right? So when I was doing this, I found another picture, right? This is another one. This is another picture where I thought I was in shape. Can you believe this? I thought I was in shape with this. This was a picture that I had took back in it had to be like 2015-ish, around in there. And you can see there's some muscles in there, but it's the angles and the pictures I was taking. I was like the angle type of guy. I wanted to make sure the angles were right, it looked good, but aesthetically it probably didn't, you know. The face was still fat. For someone that's working out, that's gonna slim down. I was just doing some push-ups and then take the picture. You know what I mean? So it was fabricated, and it really wasn't. At one point in time, I was in shape, but not like how I am now. It's like I was starting to get there, and this brings my next point that I want to talk about. I remember working with a guy that I went to school with, like I'm mentioning names, but I was working with him, and I started getting big, and I started noticing it, and I was like, man, this is crazy. People started noticing before I did, and I was like, nah, I still at the same weight, but I was actually, basically, I was getting bigger, muscular-wise, and people were starting to see it, and people were starting to respect me a lot more, because I said I weighed like 135, and I had jumped up to 170, you know. So it was starting to come up. And here's what I was doing. I was drinking beer, drinking alcohol, thinking that, you know, drinking the alcohol would actually help, but it was killing the testosterone, which means killing you, promoting healthy growth hormones for muscle. You can't do that. So that's what's in this fitness journey. You got to give up alcohol. You really do. How much alcohol can you drink? Zero, none. You really shouldn't, because it defeats the purpose of what you're doing. A person that's in shape, on a fitness journey, drinking, you shouldn't even be looking that way, because all the decisions that I know I've made, they haven't been good drinking. So just cut it out. I asked God to give me that to let that go, that desire. I had made so many bad mistakes because of drinking. So I didn't really get too like big on smoking. I was never really a smoker. My mom would basically smoke cigarettes and have me go to the store and get her cigarettes for her when I was of age, of course, obviously. And I just got tired of that, I didn't like that. And I saw all of my people in my family that were smoking, so, smoking cigarettes, obviously. And I didn't want to pick up that habit, but I ended up picking up something else, drinking. So I was no better than them, so it didn't even really matter. In some kind of way, I picked that up. So that wasn't good. But I remember this, I was probably like 14 years old, and I was working at Six Flags Astroworld. I was originally from Houston, right? I remember I was the guy that was like tightening up the seats and checking the seat belts and making sure everything was good. I wasn't the person that was hitting the button to like operate the main part of the ride. I was the other person. There's two people in Mindbender, where you got the person that's on the main panel and you have the person that's on the other panel. It's a button you press and it releases the cart to go, releases a roller coaster to go. So it would say all clear. I'll hold a thumbs up and I would hit that button and it would synchronize it and it would let the train go out of the station. I remember this one girl, right? She looked really good. And I remember asking her, because I remember at that time I was like probably like 135 or so. I remember asking her like, hey, what's up? I want to get to know you. And she told me that she wasn't interested in skinny guys and that she wasn't attracted to me. Not saying that I didn't look good, but she said, you was just too small. And I said, wait. So you rather talk to some guy? I pointed out some bigger guy, like he was just overweight. He said, yeah, I'd rather talk to him. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I always remember that. I remember that as a kid. I was like, man, I gotta gain some weight. There's another part I was saying, trying to gain weight to fit in. I think that's where it all kind of started, stimulated from that experience as a child, because I was like 14 at the time. And I basically allowed that experience to make it, and that's when I shouldn't have done that. So what I wanted to tell you is those experiences can still hunt you. They can, unless you don't get your mind right, your mind on Christ, you should be really doing that. Like I said, that fitness journey, I had started with that guy it was like 15 years ago. And it was a jump start. Like I saw what attention you could get as an athletic built man. It was good. It really was. But I didn't finish the process. I didn't finish it. I stopped. I thought that you could just work out and that's it. You don't have to go to the gym anymore. But nah, you got to continue to keep going. You can't just stop just like right there, because there's so much more that you got to do. And that's what I didn't realize. You got to maintain it. It's not like you go and you attain it where you want to look at. Your body will slowly go back to where it was. My habits wasn't locked in. I was still drinking, still doing that. Like I said, I wasn't doing the right stuff. And this is why you have to be locked in. And I remember it was a girl that I had a crush on in high school, or actually middle school. And I remember she, it was cool now and stuff. And she was like, hey, Stu, I just think that those tattoos are not you. That's not who you really are. Why did you get them? But I go back to what I said. I was trying to fit in so much with everybody else that I was getting it so I could look good, That was a thing back then, So that's why I say just being yourself and not trying to conform to this world or what they're doing, the standards for you. You be who you're called to be. You be that individual God molded to be, because everyone is different. Because if everybody's the same, we'd be all driving Hondas, the same cars. It'd be boring. That's why we're all unique and different. So be who you're called to be, because you can't be anybody else. I pretended for so long to be somebody I wasn't, and I didn't like that. I wanted to be myself and be who I was supposed to be, because I had pretended to be somebody so long I didn't even remember or know who I was. So that's not good. It's not good at all. Especially on a fitness journey. You want to have a strong mindset, locked in on your purpose, your mission, whatever goal you got. You're gonna accomplish it. You know why? Because you decided to do it, which is the hardest part in your mind. I decided I'm gonna do this. Then continue to keep doing it. I'm gonna be here to motivate you along the way, tell you all the different tips and tips that you can do. Not tricks, because there ain't no tricks in this stuff. You gotta really actually put in the work to do it. So If you got any questions or any comments or anything you want to know, let me know. Leave me a question in the chat or something like that, in the comments. Ask me stuff. I'm willing to tell you. Like I've learned so much in this fitness world that I know how to lose weight when you need to. It's like an athlete, right? They train and train so much, and when they gotta meet weight, they know what to do. So I know what to do to lose the weight. I know what to do to maintain. I know what to do to gain more weight. Healthy weight, not just fat, but more weight, more muscle, should I say. It's not an easy process, but once you get in the mindset of doing it, you're gonna be successful. You're gonna be successful at anything you put your mind to. It's really true. If you say you can't do it, then you cannot do it. If you say to yourself that you can and you will do it, then you will succeed at this. So I'm telling you, keep on your fitness journey. You can succeed at everything that you set out to accomplish. Set real expectations on the things that you want in life. You can do it. I'm telling you. I'm a living witness. I'm telling you, you can do it. So until next time, like, comment, subscribe. Leave me something to think about. I'm here to help. So like I said, until next time, I'll see ya. Peace.